Okay, so first I'm going in with the Mario Badescu Rose Water Facial Spray. I really like this. I spritz it on my face throughout the day, but I'm just taking my hands and rubbing that in. I'm also taking the Maybelline Master Prime Blur / Pore Minimizer. I don't like my pores, so I like to make sure that they're filled in. I just rub that with my hands throughout my face where I feel like I need to. At this point, I was looking for my sponge because I couldn't find it, or beauty blender, whatever you want to call it. I was getting it wet. You always want to make sure you use your beauty blender wet. I'm taking the shade, or Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Fair Neutral. I'm concealing some of the spots on my face that I feel like I need to. I've been breaking out a little bit, so I want to make sure I cover those up. Taking my beauty blender, blending those out. This will just help hide that a little bit. I'm now taking the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation in the shade Ecru. I just got a sample size of this and I really like it. I'm planning on getting the full bottle soon, but it is a pretty expensive foundation. I think it's like $45, but it's very full coverage, lasts very long. So I would recommend it. It just depends on if you want to spend that much on it. I just make sure I blend it out, have no lines of demarcation or anything. I'm now going back in with the Tarte Shape Tape concealer in Fair Neutral, putting it underneath my eyes to hide any bags, on my forehead to lighten that, nose, and also my chin. And you just want to take your beauty blender and dab it out. I'm now taking the Urban Decay Primer Potion in the shade Original. This is just going to help your eyeshadow stay on longer throughout the day. It won't break up and get creasy. I really recommend using a shadow primer. I think it changes the makeup game. And I just take my beauty blender, blend that out a little bit. I'm now taking the Coty Airspun Translucent Powder in the shade Translucent Extra Coverage. I'm putting that underneath my eyes and I'm going to bake that a little bit on my eyelid to get that dry. And I'm basically going to bake anywhere that I put that concealer at. And I'm then going to take a big brush and put it on the rest of my face. Just wiping away any excess powder that we have. I'm now going to spray my face with the Milani Make It Last setting spray. I like to do this twice throughout my routine, right after I do this and right after I'm finished with everything at the end. I just feel like it helps my makeup stay longer throughout the day. I'm doing my eyeshadow with the Jaclyn Hill palette from Morphe. I'm first going in with a fluffy brush with this shade Silk Cream. I'm going to put that in my crease, and you're just going to use like windshield wiper motions and then circular motions to blend it out. This is my favorite shade of the palette. I basically use it for every makeup look that I do. After that, I'm taking the shade Pooter in the palette with the same brush, and I'm basically doing the same motion. I'm just trying to deepen up that crease. Sorry if there's background noise. My stepdad is out there watching TV. I'm wiping away some of the excess shadow that fell. I am now taking the shade Roxanne and I'm focusing that more on the outer corner of my eye. I don't want to take it too far into the inner corner because what I just did is I did that and it got a little bit on my nose. So I had to take some of my highlighting powder from the Tarte Park Avenue Princess and I fixed it with that. It takes me a little bit to get back to the camera at this point because my stepdad was needing help with an email. So I did that for a second. Okay, now I'm back, and I'm still just going to take that shade Roxanne and do it on the other eye. Make sure it's blended. Still windshield wiper and circular motions. So after that, I'm taking a smaller fluffy brush and I'm going in with the shade Jax, and this is a darker shade, which is why I took a smaller brush, because I don't want it to explode all over my eyes, and I'm focusing this on the outside corner. I definitely don't want to bring this too far in because it'll make my eyes look very tired. So I'm just blending that out. I'm now doing my eyelid shade, and I first took the shade Firework with a flat brush, and I'm just putting that over the middle of my eyelid. I just like a pop of color to my eyes. You don't have to use shimmery shades if you don't want to, but I love them. So I'm now taking the shade Sissy, and I'm focusing that more towards the inner corner of my eye. I'm going to blend those two colors together. And I'm using the same flat brush that I was using. And you saw me go back in with a fluffy brush, and I made sure all of that was blended together. And I had to brush away some of that excess powder because I should have used translucent powder under my eye, but I didn't. And you have to be careful with this because if it gets too messy, it'll mess up your whole look. I am now doing my lower lash line. I take a smaller, denser brush for the lower lash line. And I went back in with the shade Pooter, and I'm just running that across the lash line all the way to the inner corner. And it's going to look really messy at first until you blend it out at the end. I'm now taking the shade Roxanne, and I'm basically doing the same thing. I'm just not taking it as far into my inner corner. After that, I'm taking the shade Jax again, and it's a deeper shade, so I want it just focused on the outer corner. Once again, I'm brushing away some of the excess powder. I'm now taking a fluffy brush and I'm blending that out. You want to make sure you do this or it's just going to look like a line underneath your eye and it's going to look really messy. You basically just want to blend everything in makeup. Once again, you see me blending. I do that a lot throughout my routine just to make sure everything's good. I'm now taking the shade, I think it's Abyss. It's the black shade in her palette, and I use this as my eyeliner just because it feels easier to me than a gel liner. The only time I really use a gel liner is if I want like a dramatic wing or anything. But I just take a flat brush and I stamp this onto my eyelid right above my lash line. And you can skip this step if you're not big into eyeliner, but I wear fake lashes, so I like to do it. I'm now taking the Tarte Park Avenue Princess palette and I'm going to contour with it. I'm taking the shade Princess Cut and I'm doing the hollows of my cheeks. It's going to look like a harsh line at first, but you have to get the brush and blend it out. I'm also doing my forehead because I feel like I have a bigger forehead and I like to hide that a little bit. I do my jawline as well, and to blend it out, you just want to do circular motions. I'm also putting some on my nose because I feel like if I don't, my nose just looks really white in the middle of my face. So I like to put a little warmth there. And once again, I just blend it out. I went back in with my Jaclyn Hill palette because I forgot to do my inner corner. So I put the shade Beam on the very inner corner. I like doing that just because it adds a pop to the inside and it really brings your eyes out. I'm now taking the Tarte Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Blush in the shade Party. I went back in with the Tarte Park Avenue Princess palette, and I took the shade Halo to put right underneath my eyes to kind of brighten that back up again. Now I'm doing my eyebrows, and I'm just taking a spoolie to get everything smoothed out. And I'm taking my TG Brow Sculpting Duo in the shade Brunette. I got this from school and I really like it. And by the way, I have microbladed eyebrows, so I just kind of fill in where I feel like I need to, because my eyebrows do get a little bit darker whenever I do my makeup. So I just fill in like what I feel like I need to. Take the spoolie again, make sure everything's smoothed out and blended. I feel like I've said blended a million times throughout this video, but that's what you gotta do. I'm now taking my highlight from Wet n Wild in the shade Golden Flower Crown. I really like this. It's smooth or it's affordable. My camera stopped working, so now I'm taking the Colossal Maybelline mascara, and I put my eyelashes on already. Now taking my lipstick and Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink in the shade Lover. I just like to take mascara and put the eyelashes and regular lashes more blended together. I'm now taking my setting spray from Milani again, spritzing my face with it, and I take a beauty blender and make sure everything, just kind of press it into my skin. And we are now done with this video. I really hope y'all like it, and I'll do more if y'all want me to.